What's up, guys? It's Aaron from Tamron TV, and welcome to my new video. It's just a quick run through on all the gear that I use and all the gear that's in my camera bag. Hope you guys like it and stay tuned. So now let's get into the gear. Let's go into lighting first. The first and third light that I use is my Godox TT600. It's just a full manual HSS flash. It's really nice. I just use this as a hair or background light. So yeah, my TT600. The next light I use are my main speed light, which is really nice, and I can use it as either a master or a slave flash. Is my Godox VRII. It's HSS and TTL compatible, which is really nice because sometimes you need those fast shutter speeds to truly stop action, and it's just super simple to use. Battery life is long. I think I charged it once in the past month because I barely use it. It's just a beautiful flash all around. Super easy, super simple, and yeah, great flash. VRII. Next flash that I have is my 8200 Pro. Now it's in this case right now, but let me take it out for you guys real quick. So the reason why I bought this light was because I rarely use big strobes. Most of the time speed lights are good enough, but this is just so portable that I can use it pretty much anywhere because of the small footprints. And it's powerful, 3 times stronger than the VRII, and it's just a beautiful flash. Super portable, super easy to use, and yeah, I love it, especially with the bare bulb. Using one of those big soft boxes that are like 120 centimeters, they're just perfect. Beautiful light, my favorite light. I'm gonna buy a second one, and yeah, love it. 8200 Pro. Now, my trigger is just an X Pro trigger. Big screen, you can change groups easily using these buttons. You change the power, change the mode of each flash, and the TTM button, which is one of my favorite buttons. You can change it from TTL and get the same power alpha you had in TTL into manual, so you can do those fine adjustments a bit more. So it's great for my 8200 because you can do 1/10 stop increments. Which is, yeah, I love this flash. My Godox X Pro and trigger. Now, let's talk lenses. What lenses do I use? Well, my favorite lens all time is gotta be the 7200 2.8. Now, I love this lens. I've owned the VR1 and this is the VR2. So I've owned the VR1 and the VR2, and I just love this lens. It is beautiful. It's the compression you can get out of it, the autofocus speeds, and the absolute build quality of this camera. I just love it. My favorite lens all time. If I ever switch brands, I will always buy this lens. I will always try to buy it first. It's just beautiful. I love it. Favorite lens. And again, build quality, autofocus, and sharpness, all on this lens. I love it. Now, since I am primarily a sports photographer and not wildlife, but mainly a sports photographer, I need to have a pretty decently long lens. So that's why I have my Tamron 100-400 G2. It's just super sharpest lens I've ever owned for this type of focal range. I owned the Sigma 150-500. That was a pretty decent lens. And then a 300mm prime. And I just love this lens. It's super portable. It's lighter than my 7200, and it takes the exact same footprint as it. And it's just a great lens for outdoor sports like football or golf or something like that. Tennis, it's pretty decent, but the 7200 is better. But for this lens for outdoor, especially in those big fields, This lens is just so perfect for that, and I love this lens. I bought it for a great price, great lens. Now, I'm gonna do a lens on a body. This is my 50mm prime, the 1.8D on my D4. I love this lens. It's super cheap, but the portraits you can get out of it, the bokeh, whatever, you can just, it's just beautiful. It is super cheap, super simple lens. You just attach it, as long as you have like the focus motor, and then it's a great lens. It's super easy to use. You can take great photos, especially with that 1.8 aperture. Sure, it's not a 1.4, but for me, I would rather spend the money on my actual you know, hobby, like my actual the things I like to shoot is what I'm trying to say. So this lens, as great as it is, as great as the 1.4 is, this lens is just as good, and I just love it. And yeah, that's that lens. Now the body, this is my favorite body all time. I love it. Its speed, its build quality, its colors, its low light, everything is just perfect on this camera. I love the way it feels, the ergonomics, I love them. The ISO is great. Low light on this camera is beautiful. I can shoot at 10,000, 12,800 and still use it. And man, this is just such a good camera. Sure, it's low megapixels, only 16, but guess what? That doesn't matter to me. I mostly do sports photography that doesn't require me to make prints. I just post them on Instagram, post them on Facebook or socials. I send them to the athletes and they love them. And if I ever do need a big print, I can still do it with this camera. It's more than enough. And I love this camera, especially with the cards. This card, the XQD card, they're just amazing. You can get read and write speeds crazily. You can just non-stop shooting. And this FPS, I can do 11 FPS with this camera, which is great. That's 10 FPS in total, but this camera overall is my favorite camera all time, and that's saying a lot since I owned a lot of gear like 1D Mark IV, 3D D3S, sorry, RP60, 5D Mark II, all those cameras, and this camera comes out on top. I've also shot Sony though, Sony A7, Sony A7S. A7S, sure, it's great for video, but for autofocus and overall, this camera is the best out of all the cameras I've ever used. And I love this camera. Now, what am I recording with? Obviously, if I have that camera, that means I have to have a second camera. So my second camera, or my backup camera for sports photography, is my Nikon D800. It's great for outdoor sports, but for indoor it's a bit iffy. The lens on it is my 24-70 f2.8G lens, so no VR, but it's great because for sports you need to be above at least 1/800 depending on the level. So the camera and the lens is just absolutely perfect for me. It's great for portraits and for big prints. Like I said, I don't use big prints with that camera. I'll use this camera for like landscapes or portraits where I need those prints. I'll use this camera, 36 megapixels. That is more than enough to make a big print. This lens, just like the VRII, is great autofocus, great sharpness, great build quality. I just love this lens. Now I do have one more lens coming in. I'm about to buy it. It is a Nikon 18 to 35 f3.5 to I think 5.6 D lens. It's just a wide angle, super cheap full frame lens. So yeah, I'm gonna use that just to take those nice landscapes when I'm in the mountains or when I'm at a lake. And the nice thing is I can stop it down to f22 so I can get those, you know, the water flowing smoothly. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm buying that lens. And sure, I can use my 24-70, but at 18 millimeters you just get a wider angle and you kind of get this the wide angle effect, where it makes it look bigger and more grand. So yeah, that's the lens I'm about to buy, and those are all the lenses that I own and I'm about to buy. And yeah, that's all. Thank you for watching. See you guys in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, stop wasting my time.